Okay, so I'm just catching up on some horror movies that I've seen over the past few weeks, and another one I got to see a few days early was Clown in a Cornfield. This movie has already released worldwide, and this was a movie I didn't really have a whole lot of excitement for. I heard some good word of mouth about it coming out of festivals. I have never read the book. This movie is based on a novel which I have never read, so I can only judge this movie as a movie, not compared to the book. So just know that going forward into this review. So now let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off with a short plot summary is this film is about a father and a daughter. They move to this small town in the middle of nowhere, bit of a country town, and the folks in this town, are a bit odd. The film has a small population, and so our main character makes friends with the popular group in high school who run this prank YouTube channel where someone dresses up as Friendo, who is a local urban legend in the town. And one thing leads to another, and this becomes a reality where a cult of friendos start attacking and murdering our main group of characters. And so now getting into my positives for Clown in a Cornfield is I do like the story regarding the factory explosion and the explanation and the lore that this film does go into regarding the factory and regarding the Friendo character. So all of that I thought was handled really well. I would have liked to see more of that. Maybe more of a backstory and an origin to Friendo to really make his character stand out. Another positive I do have, which is my biggest positive for Clown in a Cornfield, is the carnage candy. Horror this year, I'd say has been pretty good, but even with the bad horror this year, the blood splatter, the gore has been top notch. This year is so far in the lead for being, I'd say, the bloodiest horror has been. Let me know your opinion on that. But yeah, there are some decent kills for this movie. There's a mix of off-screen and on-screen kills, but the on-screen kills that we do get, are quite violent. There are some creative ones, scattered into the mix, which I feel like this film does have a lot of fun with its kills. And now jumping off from that this is a pretty basic story. This is a slasher tale that we have all seen 100 times in the past. A town in the middle of nowhere. Folks are acting a bit weird. We've seen this tale before, and this movie does have fun with its story. However, this is a movie that, as much as I did have fun with it when watching it, this isn't a movie that I would watch ever again. I wouldn't be in a rush to watch it because, I can think of 20, 30 slasher movies that are better than this, that follow a very similar plot to this. And so this movie's story, it isn't original. It doesn't do anything new for the slasher genre. Friendo, I think, is a cool character, but I don't really know too much about him to really make a full opinion on whether or not he will make a great slasher icon going forward. This movie does set up for sequels, and from what I know about the books, there are 3 books in the series, and so I would definitely like to see more of this character and uh, more of this world, and I would like to see more of what Frendo does have to offer. Um, as far as I guess the killer reveal, because this is a slasher movie. There's always that classic reveal with the big speech at the end. We've all seen them before. I thought the killer reveal, one of them was surprising, but when you watch the movie, you can kind of almost pinpoint, who the killers are going to be. There was one of them, that was a surprise, and then there were another 2 that I was like, ha, knew it. Um, and this was also another surprising thing about this movie for me personally was was our characters. Our side characters, they are just there to add numbers to the kill count, so this movie can have some glorious carnage candy that we all know and love. But our main character here, our main female character, I thought she was, really good in the movie. I thought she held her ground really well. I thought it was a very strong performance from her. I thought it was a really strong character as far as, rising to this occasion when being terrorized, by clowns. So yeah, I thought she was really good. There's enough characterization given to her for you to care. I thought the daughter and father, relationship, which is a big part of the first act of this movie, I thought that was really well handled. I thought there were some sweet moments, and really at the core of this movie really is a father-daughter story at its core, which I really appreciated, and I think, lended itself to some sweet and emotional moments throughout the runtime. And then as far as our side characters go, they're your typical, slasher, stereotypes. You have, you have like the sexy one of the group. You have the one who wants to sleep with everyone. We have, we have like our, our tough guy, jock type character in here. So, but then even at points, I thought some of the side characters, were okay. I guess our main lead side character, the side characters aren't given a whole lot of characterization. That's why I can't remember their name. But, there's one of the side characters that has a relationship or has like a love interest going on, which, I didn't think, that was too bad. I thought that that relationship and that dynamic, worked pretty well in the movie. Frendo's look was good. There are some, moments of tension. It's very light though, and it's very minor throughout the movie. But there's a couple of scenes when there's like the clowns, that laugh as they're walking out of the cornfield. That was, yeah, not so much creepy, but I thought it was an effective shot. There's a scene that takes place in a car that I thought was really well done, where you're seeing where she's kind of blocked in, and there's clowns on either side. It's in the trailer, and then there's a clown behind her. That might be a spoiler, but it's clown in a cornfield. You're going to watch this movie, to see people get fucked up. Be honest there. And I'd say that this is a pretty low budget movie as well, and I'd say for the low budget, that this movie is shot really well. The production value here, is really good. There is some, some interesting character story, in amongst the lore of this world, as far as I guess, as far as like who controls what. I won't get into specifics there, but I thought that lended itself to some interesting plot lines that that did and didn't go the places I wanted it to, or didn't go as deep. Like, that's the thing, is this isn't really a deep movie. This is a movie that's there purely to entertain you. But if I wanted to watch an evil clown or a creepy clown movie, I would never watch this movie over it. And I would never watch this again, because there's 20 other slasher movies that I would rather watch that are much better than this. But for a one-time watch, I think this movie does have a lot to enjoy. It's currently in theaters, so you do yourself a favor, and go check it out. You might, you might enjoy this movie, a lot more than I did. But I felt like I kind of wanted more from what this movie was setting up. So, but I had a good time, but it's not going to be a movie I remember a week from now.